We are Gold Ivy, a health company dedicated to simplifying health and wellness. The industry is lacking the honest experience and grit required to overcome the struggle, and we're here to fill that gap.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold. Join us on the fearless pursuit of self-discovery and growth.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production.
What up, guys? Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. You are here with Brooke and Andrea. As always, we are so grateful that you are tuning in.
Yes, we are excited to talk about a topic today that is kind of our purpose of why we created what we're creating. Is we want to be a light for people. We want to inspire people. And we want to encourage you to think of a time where, you get lost in what you're doing, or you're watching something and you get goosebumps, or you get the chills, or, you have that aha moment. And that's what we're looking for. I mean, we're looking for it ourselves by having guests on and picking their brains. And, something that you guys don't get to see are these meetings we have with people before we have them on the podcast. And so last night we were talking with Kara Hatch, and she's a perfect example of inspiration for us. I mean, she's exploring something called human design that blew our minds last night. We were like, she was like, sorry, this took longer than I thought. We were like, can you just keep talking? Yes.
Yes. And we're so excited to share that with you guys. But today we want to talk about inspiration, because like Andrea said, not only is it our purpose, why we are here, what we want to provide for you guys, it's also something that we ourselves need, right? Like, we are providing inspiration, we are sharing stories, but it's also in the midst of life and everything going on. There are times when we need a little more inspiration. And one of those times for me is right now. If you guys have been following along my journey, you know that the last 4 years have kind of been a medical mystery. I had a plethora of symptoms that I saw over 50 doctors for, couldn't find answers, tried everything and anything. And finally, thanks to Emily Field, who introduced me to Krista Biegler, a integrative nutritionist who actually tested the bacteria in my gut, actually did a stool test, tested what was actually going on in there. And lo and behold, I'm not crazy. So we found that I have parasites, I have fungi, I have bad bacteria, barely any good bacteria. I have extreme inflammation. Liver enzyme shows that my liver is working way harder than it should, producing excess estrogen, which could be from endometriosis, but Krista thinks it could be from mold toxicity, which is a whole nother beast and another test that is very expensive. So more to come on that, but what our protocol is right now is a bunch of different supplements to really support the gut, help with the inflammation, and then to kill off these bad bugs that are depleting my energy, taking all my nutrients. So it's cool because on the test, it showed that I have barely any good bacteria. Looks like I eat like a toddler. I have no diversity in my food, which isn't true. I eat very healthy, and that's also why I knew I wasn't crazy, because the way I eat, I should feel unstoppable, and I don't. So I have it on paper, actual tests that show I'm not crazy. There is something inside of me that shouldn't be. And so the last week has really all been about detoxing, getting my system ready, and it's been tough. The past 4 years have dealt with fatigue, and now it's extreme.
But it makes sense now because your body's not taking any of the good stuff you're giving it.
Exactly.
There's nothing to help you get energy. That's why you're so depleted. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, and that alone inspired me to keep going, that I can find an answer, that advocating for myself all these years is worth it. With that brought a lot of emotions. I think I felt every emotion on the spectrum. she spent 2 hours with me going over everything in depth, sharing her screen with me, showing my results, my symptoms, explaining why I was having certain symptoms because of these results. Something that I wish I had 4 years ago. And it makes me extremely angry and upset and confused on why it's taken so long. I also know and believe that the universe wasn't ready to give me this answer until I was ready to receive it because of all the amazing things I've done and I've learned up until this point. It's not always how I think, but how I'm forcing myself to think. It shouldn't be this hard to find answers. It shouldn't be this expensive, and it sucks, but I'm also trying my hardest to practice gratitude, to stay inspired, to stay in this headspace of, hell yeah, I have an answer. And it's like the minute I got these answers, my body just like I could relax. I wasn't fighting anymore, and I could fully feel how shitty I feel because there's a reason behind it.
Right.
So I'm going through a lot and trying to process all of this and explain it to people, and the things that people are saying to me is another thing to process. But we want to talk about inspiration today because it's something that I really need. And that
I also want to stop you and tell you that you are inspiring people. Like, I could just cry for you because I'm so happy that you don't feel crazy anymore, because I think you having, like, just knowing one thing is in there that is sucking all of your energy out just gives you that validation you've been looking for. And I've watched you like hesitate to even share how you're feeling because you don't want to be that girl. That is not who you want to identify at. That is not the answer that you want. You want to just be you. And I feel like having these results and having a professional walk you through it, like holding your hand and saying, Brooke, you're sick. Like, you're really sick. You have a parasite in you. You have fungi. You have bacteria. You have a lot of things going on that we need to take care of. And I have answers for you, and I have a route for you. And so I just want you to know that you inspire me to push through everything, because I'm not battling this. Like, I don't have my body, something in me fighting against myself, and life is hard regardless without those things. And so I just think, like, this is about inspiration. And I'm so happy that you're sharing what you're going through, because that's exactly what inspiration is. It's fighting through this hard stuff and then sharing that story so someone can read it for when they're going through that, and that they know that it's possible to get answers. It's possible to push through. It's possible to create a business with zero energy. Like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next year when these are all out of your body and what happens.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. And I think what's gotten me through it is surrounding myself with the inspiration that I needed, right? The proof that you can find answers, that you're not crazy. The podcasts that I listen to, all of these functional doctors that I listen to, that I'm like, yes, like, thank you. You shouldn't have these symptoms. Like, we identify with being tired, with being bloated, with having headaches and migraines as, it's just my time of the month, or that's just normal. Like, I'm just always tired. Like, that's life. Like, no, that is the norm that you're setting for yourself. Like, I know that it's possible to feel on fire because I'm listening to people who feel that way. And if they feel that way, like, why can't I feel that way? Also honoring my body and knowing that, like, this is hard. And no one is talking about how hard it is to get healthy, right? Everyone in the industry, personal development, the health space, it's do this, do X, Y, and Z to get here. But no one's talking about the grit that it takes in those moments, what you're saying to yourself. Like, how do you actually find inspiration to keep going? Like, the days that I couldn't get out of bed, that I didn't want to get out of bed, like this morning, waking up to a huge medical bill and being like, I'm 25. Like, can I be bankrupt right now? Like, how much credit card debt means that you're bankrupt? Like, how do I keep going when, like, I just have this avalanche coming on me, but then I have a little answer, a little hope. And that's really what I had throughout this whole journey, is that next thing to grab onto. And in the moment, it made me feel crazy. Like, just reach for the next. But looking back, it's how I got here. So I want to share this whole journey with you guys because I know it's possible to be on fire and to relight my spark. And also the accountability, right? Like sharing your story, sharing that you're going through something hard. People want to help, and I know that. And it's what I'm working through in therapy is allowing people to help me. And this idea of surrendering. And right now where I'm finding my inspiration from is really Gabby Bernstein has been instrumental in asking for help, in praying, spirituality, just giving these burdens to a higher power. And, you know, throughout my journey, I've definitely questioned, like, why the hell am I going through this? Like, but then I also think, okay, like the Lord's trying to teach me something. Like, what else you got for me? I'm here. Like, what do you want to teach me? So finding things that make it not so hard, like affirmations, things that can build me up. This morning routine that we talk about, that's so crucial, even if you're not going through something health-wise or, you know, depression or whatnot, just to feel good, to feel better. So right now I'm really taking it day by day. So my body is trying to detox all this bad shit. So I'm sauning, I'm giving up alcohol, all these things to help support me. I can't even think of everything I'm doing, like the tracker that I'm keeping track of everything, what I eat every hour, every mood, every feeling, every bowel movement, which like we're having those, hell yeah. All of these things that like, I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? Like waking up and keeping track of your every move is a lot. And then giving to all my clients and helping and knowing that I'm walking the walk with them has been helpful. Showing up authentically with however I'm feeling in the space. So being honest with today, I'm feeling really depressed. And that's okay because here's what's going on in my body. So I want to take you guys through all the ups, all the downs, the roller coaster, and how I'm basically healing my gut, healing my energy, healing my spirit in hopes to inspire you all and to keep me inspired. So stay tuned. Follow us on social media where I'll be posting at Gold Ivy Health Co. on Instagram mostly. But we want to take this time now to really go into what is helping us be inspired right now, in the past, and ways that you guys can help be inspired too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're living proof of how strong your mind is, how strong, like the power that you have over your body with your mind, and how you can transform your energy by channeling it in different ways. Like you've really dug into meditation and energy work and thought work and all of these things that I think have put you on the path that you're on.
You know, even going over my results, I felt like a badass because I was told everything that's going on with me, like the fact that I can still get out of bed and create a business and work, and it makes sense why I'm feeling the way I am. But when I say take good care of myself, right, it's what I'm putting in my body, exercise, what I'm saying to myself, this mental work that I've been doing. And it's these practices have allowed me to kind of create this ability to hone in into how I'm feeling and what I need to keep going, to find the inspiration that I need, whether that's podcasts. Like right now I am pumping my brain full of affirmations, full of personal development, anything positive, please Lord, send it my way. Because it's hard. And my brain, like all of us, it goes to the negativity. It wants to protect. It's fear. It's like, how am I going to afford this? Like, is this worth it? What if I don't find an answer? What if I do all these supplements and it doesn't work? Like I'm pouring so much energy that I don't have into this. To do what? Because right now we're taking it week by week. Like it's all about how my body responds. It's all about naturally healing with herbs and different supplements. And so it's like, how do I grab onto inspiration to keep me going throughout this process? So filling myself with positivity has been crucial. The people, like I don't want to be alone ever because that's when the thoughts go crazy. And having this time to reflect is really important, but then knowing how I work best and when I'm in my best element is with people and feeding off of others' positive energy.
Yeah. And I love that you have the meditation practice. I'm just getting into this, you know, walking the walk here, talking about how I want to get more into meditation. And in my morning meditation today, the woman had me tune into my heart and kind of connecting to that energy of my heart. And I was thinking about inspiration and how that works and how I kind of feel like it is and how I can see this in your journey is it's almost like thinking of your heart like a magnet. Like, what is your heart attracted to? Like, what is it getting pulled towards, right? And you're like saying this next right move, right? This next step. And I feel like it's kind of been like that for you. You're like, well, I'm drawn towards this, or this podcast is speaking to me, and this book is speaking to me. And I think that's important when you're thinking about how low you're feeling or you're needing some inspiration. Think about, you know, what it is that lights you up or what it is that gives you those good feelings, that like the goosebumps and the chills and things like that, because that's what's going to get those creative juices flowing, that positivity flowing. So what is your heart drawn toward? Like, what is it pulling toward? What is it feeling like, you know, this is something that really inspires me. I want to learn more about it, because the more that we kind of get out of that box, that comfort zone, that's when you get inspired. And I think sometimes that can be overwhelming. Like, I don't want to learn a whole new thing, you know, like when I got certified as a personal trainer, it's something I'd always wanted to do, but it was so daunting to think about like that whole process, right? So I do think you have to be ready to take on something that's like that big of a learning curve. But I think, you know, grab a book that's like, you know, I've been interested in this topic and there's no pressure for me to do anything with it. I'm just going to read about it a little bit and see how this one person transformed their life with this topic that I'm interested in. I think sometimes we just have to go outside of ourselves to get that inspiration, right? Whether it's through movies or podcasts or books or talking with someone, you know, asking the question like, what inspired you to start that up? Or how do you keep going in the midst of this, you know? And whether it has anything to do with what you're interested in, hearing someone's hardship and how they got through it can totally inspire you to do more with your life or pursue a dream.
Yeah. I think that's the power of stories, right? Is to hear how people did it so that you know it is possible, to keep you thinking and just stay in that good feeling, to produce more of that, because it is all about getting outside of yourself, listening to other people, honing in on that support that you don't really have to ask for. It's just kind of given to you. But then also tuning into your body of, how does this make me feel? And that's something in my journey that I lost trust in my body. You know, I wanted to control everything because I felt so out of control because I didn't know what my body was trying to tell me. And that's something that I am relearning through therapy, meditation, the work that I'm doing, energy healing, is really trusting that intuition, getting back to who I am and knowing that I know myself best. And how do I want to feel, right? I want to feel good. And so what makes me feel good? It's pumping my brain with positivity. It's being around certain people. It's having those moments to reflect on, okay, what do I need to do to produce more good? It's waking up early, having structure so that I can stay organized with these supplements and not get overwhelmed. So I really think it's listening to your body and that feeling good, but also looking outside of yourself to produce that feeling sometimes.
Well, and you bring up a good point with the connection. Like, you were missing the connection to yourself. And so I think that's like, for me, inspiration is looking outside of myself. It's me finding it through other people, right? Like, I feel connected. You know, I think sometimes you think about a book, you're by yourself, but I think of reading a book like I'm connecting to another person, another human that wrote this story and how they got through this hardship. And that's pushing me to do anything. Like, I think when we hear about how people did hard things, it inspires us to do more, and it gains, you know, you gain this new perspective on life and how, you know, everybody's so different, have been through different things. And so that's why I think books are so important. And in 2020, when I read a book a week, it was like a whole new ball game. It was like everything I read was a new perspective and just got my wheels turning, you know? And I think it's part of human connection. Like, we need to be connected to ourselves. We need to be connected to others. And for me, I just feel like that's what books are. Courtney Burnett, for example. You know, like
Yes.
reading how she got her diagnosis of cancer and how she's gotten through it, and her sense of humor and her ability to transform these negative phone calls into gratitude. I mean, nothing is more badass than that. And nothing has given me more perspective in the past year than that book, you know?
Yeah.
And so I know Brooke and I are always sharing books, and that's why. I mean, we want to absorb these lessons from people that have been through things that we haven't been through. And it completely inspires me every time I read a book.
Yeah, that's why I'm obsessed with stories, because it shows you that anything is possible. Like, here's living proof, and also here's how to do it, right? It gives you that feeling of like, ooh, okay, like something's turning. I'm getting some chills. I'm getting some goosebumps. And then there's also information out there that I can do step by step, right? So like listening to these podcasts, it's making me feel good. It's making me inspired, but they're also helping me achieve that feeling even more, taking it one step deeper. So I think inspiration is what lights you on fire, and then the proof to keep going.
And then you ignite that light.
Yeah.
And people see that you've transformed.
You're
something in
giving
your life.
other people permission to,
Yes. And you're inspiring them. I feel like it's just this constant.
And that's gold, right? Like gold ivy. Gold, we want to be a light for people. Stories are gold. They're light. And then also ivy, there's hardship. There's lessons in the hardship. People who have been through the mud, like they have gold. They have something to share. We have something to share. The people that we are having on Ivy Unleashed have something to share, with the mission to inspire.
Yeah. I think about traveling too. Like, I think it's just about perspective, right? It's about getting outside of your bubble, getting out of your headspace. I mean, sometimes, like, don't you just get tired of your own thoughts and just want to hear somebody else's? Like,
Or
exhausting.
just like no one. I'm like, can I just turn this thing off?
Yes.
Like Sunday, Ian and I are watching the Olympics, and I'm like, I need to relax. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm so anxious right now. And I'm literally just sitting here. Like, I can't relax. And I have all of these strategies. And I was trying to figure out, like, what do I need right now? And I realized that I'm just stuck. I feel stuck in my body right now. Like, I had energy built up that I needed to get out. And for some people, that's traveling, to your point. Like, it's getting outside of your bubble, moving energy, getting new perspective, and travel is a great way to do that.
Yeah. Even just like hearing somebody else's language, like, wow, there's such a big world out here. There's so much to learn. And you get uncomfortable in these new situations with people speaking different languages, or transportation looks different. You know, I think about going to Europe, and it was like mind blowing. I've never learned more about myself and about my partner. You know, when you travel, I feel like it's such a good opportunity to learn more about the people you love by traveling with them, whether it's a friend or a partner or whatever. And I think it's just inspiring to get outside of your little world and see how other people live, and, you know, the ease of Europe, the people, the slow way people walk and the slow way people eat, and just, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And it just showed me, like, I need to travel more often to get this perspective, because it did inspire me to think about, how am I living my life? Is it serving me well? What could I take from this different culture to put into my life? Or what foods have I not even explored? Like, so many things. I think traveling can just open up your mind to, you know, what do I want my life to look like? And it can inspire you to shift and change so many things, or be really grateful for certain things you have. You know, when I'm in Mexico, I love Mexico. I mean, I got married there, but I'm so grateful for clean water when I get home, and like so many things. And so, I mean, if you want inspiration, book a trip. I'm telling you, it's definitely something that can really open up your mind and cultivate even more creativity and inspire you.
Yeah. It really makes you think. Anything that inspires you puts that thought in your head of like, could I do this? It makes you question, like, what would it take? What do I even want? Like, am I happy with where I'm at? What would happiness look like? What feelings do I want to generate? Like, this sets me on fire. Like, I want to feel more of this. How do I get more of this?
I think of marathons. I think of when I finish a marathon, I'm like, oh my gosh, what else am I capable of? Because it's such a battle to get to the end. It doesn't matter how much you train. Like a marathon is a mind game. There are ups, there are downs. I never know even if I'm going to finish it till I hit mile 20, because you could have an injury, you could have a cramp, you could pass out, you could like literally sometimes your legs just feel like lead and you like, it's so hard. Or like when I was in Wyoming, the altitude just crushed my lungs. And so I'm very nervous about Colorado coming up, but it's just, you don't know what you're capable of until you push yourself. Right. And so that to me is like, yes, you can get inspired by stories and you can think about them. And I like your point of like putting it into tangible steps, right? And then you start to do it and then you inspire yourself and you inspire others. But I think there's this level of really push yourself to something that feels hard. Every once in a while, have that big lofty goal and go for it. And you might fail, but that's where you learn as well. And you can try again. You can always try again. But these marathons, I'm telling you, there's something about getting to that finish line that inspires me to do it again and again and again, because I get so much tougher. I'm like, I can get through anything. Like all of these problems are literally nothing. Like these little inconveniences are nothing. I almost shit my pants. Or I like when I ran Vegas, it was sleeting outside. My knee was like pounding with pain. Justin had to run into a convenience store and get some painkillers for me. I wanted to just go to my hotel, and like pushing through that marathon.
Oh my gosh.
It felt like 3 days of a race. And now I'm like, if I can get through that, I can run in Colorado when it's sunny and it's a little bit hard to breathe. I'll be fine.
Yeah. I think there's the combination of the mental and physical toughness, the grit that it takes to run a marathon, or really like any competition that requires both mental toughness and physical toughness. You grow, you realize how strong you are, that you can really overcome anything. And then you keep pushing yourself and that confidence builds. Again, you inspire yourself by showing that you can do hard things.
Yeah.
And then you inspire others to want to do that too. Like, damn, like that. I see you run marathons. I'm like, I want to freaking do that. Yeah. I don't want to run one in every state, but I want to do one.
Yeah. And I think it's not just the marathons portion. I feel like I get done with one and then I think about, what am I capable of in all avenues of my life?
Yes.
Where am I not challenging myself that I definitely could? I just think it waterfalls into different avenues that maybe I haven't explored yet. Or why do I put that ceiling on myself in my career or in my personal life or in my relationships or as a parent or whatever? I feel like we can really make some big lofty goals and be whoever we want to be and create the life that we want. And I do think sometimes it takes that big lofty goal and crushing it or failing at it, you inspire yourself. And obviously you're going to inspire other people, but like you need that for yourself to show yourself, I am capable of so much more than I ever thought that I ever was.
Yeah. And life is going to bring challenges no matter who you are. It's going to look different for everyone. And you need that resilience. We've talked about it before. Like you need to know that you can get through hard things because life is too short. Like, I want to feel good. Everyone wants to feel good, and you should feel good. Like, you have one life to live. When I think about inspiration, it's really the thought that has gotten me through it is, like, I don't want to live like this. And that's why people change, right? People are overweight. They're sick and tired. They are depressed. And they're like, I'm sick of feeling like this. And then you hear stories of people who have been where you are. And that inspires you. It makes you feel like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. And then you overcome it and you realize, okay, the next hardship thrown my way, it's fine. I got this.
Yep. It makes me think of an episode we have coming up with our Alaska friend, Brooke Pottle. And she just got to a point in her life where she was sick and tired of feeling how she felt. And I think sometimes you can use that as inspiration. Like, I am done with this feeling. I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a show, sometimes it's, you know, whatever it is to give you the inspiration. But I think sometimes it's like, you've got to just say, I am done feeling this way. I feel like crap. And what do I need to do for myself to get to that next move?
Yeah. And I mean, I resonated with that. When she said that, I got goosebumps. I got chills because that's the place I was in before I invested in working with Krista, integrative nutritionist who it's not covered by insurance. It's not cheap. Working with her is expensive. Supplements are expensive. It's like, I don't even know how much money I'm going to spend on this at the end of the road. But I know that I'm sick and tired of feeling like this. Like, I have so much potential. This is holding me back so much. And trusting in the investment in yourself, right? Like, knowing that this return on investment is going to be way greater, and trusting that feeling. Listening to Emily talk about her when I first did my initial consult with her to see if it would be a good match. Like, I had this deep urge, this intuition, and I was like, okay, like, this is a lot of money, but it's worth it. And Sonia Eklund, she had said to me when I was working with her on finances, she's like, any investment on yourself is worth the money. Like, your health is worth it. And so anytime I'm stressed about money in this situation, that's all I'm telling myself is like, you're investing in yourself. This is worth it. You have one life to live. It's just money. You're going to make money the rest of your life. You may go bankrupt at 25, but it's going to build some resilience and it'll be fine. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But
well, I'm proud of you because that is a great way to think of it. And
I don't always think like that. I just want to put it out there. Yeah. Like, this is me saying what I force feed myself to here because it's what I need to hear to keep going. And I don't always believe it. And that's okay. Like, affirmations, things that you tell yourself, you don't always have to believe it. But the more you say it, the more you will, because you'll prove yourself right.
Mm-hmm. I think that you are living proof that there's always a way to transform. Mm-hmm. There's always a way to inspire yourself to a new level or a new outcome or a new decision. And you're taking those steps. I mean, like you said, you're pumping your brain full of inspiration with podcasts, with books. And I think that there's always new possibilities, whether it's like your health, like Brooke, or it's your career, mm-hmm. your personal life, your happiness. I mean, inspiration changes your thinking patterns, which in turn changes your behavior, which in turn levels up your life. And so get inspired and figure out what that is for you and get different avenues of getting inspiration and tune into us because we're always doing that. We're like living examples of finding inspiration wherever we can possibly find it and sharing it with you. So turn to what inspires you as often as you can and see how it transforms your life.
All right, time for our 3 gold stars. 1, decide on a self-growth practice. Could be exercise, listening to a podcast, meditating, something that you can fall back on when you're lacking inspiration.
2, pick a book to read in the next month that covers a topic that inspires you.
And 3, reflect on the last time you got goosebumps or chills. How can you incorporate more of that feeling into your life?
Thank you again so much for joining us today and listening to this episode on inspiration. And if this inspired you at all, please share with a friend or leave us a review. It would mean a lot.
Yes. And today, for your piece of gold, comes from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He says, when you feel inspired, what appeared to be risky becomes a path you feel compelled to follow.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.